In recent years, we've seen a major shift in people's perception of work, and across all industries, enticing and retaining a capable workforce is becoming increasingly difficult. Here to talk about it, we've got a team. We'll start over here with CEO of APWA Scott Grayson, David Clark, and Ted Allen. Thank you, all of you, for joining us, but I'll direct my first question over here to you, Scott. What's the scale of the problem?
It's a good question. It's mostly anecdotal right now. We've not run an empirical study, but we know there are very high vacancy rates within most of the public works agencies in the United States. What we hear is that vacancy rates are between 12% and 21%. And you have to split the issue in half. You have operations staff, you have engineers, and so there are different competing forces out there.
Right, and do you know what's causing it?
I think in any sector right now, people have reconsidered their careers, their work-life balance, need for remote work. A lot of changes over the last 2 years. And then large companies like an Amazon, McDonald's move in an area and are able to actually pay higher wages than some public works agencies can.
It's wild to think of.
It is.
Ted, how are you feeling this in LA?
So the obvious one, the direct impact, is the vacancy rate that Scott mentioned. So we're seeing in our different departments and our bureaus in public works, 15 to over 20% vacancy rate. And so partly due to retirements, but just a tighter workforce. But also we're actually, even our private partners, the contractors, are also having a hard time finding people. And that's manifesting itself in getting less bidders on our construction projects, getting higher bid prices on construction projects. So those are the two different ways we're seeing it.
All the domino effects. Right over here, David. Talk about Atlanta. Are you feeling this?
We are, and I actually have a kind of a personal story to it because my son just graduated from high school. College is not in his future right now, but he got a job with Amazon for $18.50 an hour, and we're offering entry-level positions at $14 and $15 an hour. So it doesn't take a rocket scientist to know that maybe go for the little bit larger paycheck. So that's what he did, even though he's been around public works his entire life from what I do. But it is a challenge. And I think a lot of it also comes back to the high schools. I mean, we're not doing vocational training in the high schools anymore, or to a much less degree than we were 30 years ago. And that's not creating the seed or the foundation to really build on, so people want to do something that is more trade-based as opposed to going to college. Because like I said, from what we found out with my son, he's just not a college kid right now. He just wants to work. And public works, traditionally, I think, a generation or two, was a great chance for them to do that. It's just not there right now.
Well, it sounds like that story could be the face of this issue.
I think what some miss is that there might be higher salaries out there, but the value that somebody can receive knowing that they're serving the public, you can't really compare with the private sector.
And that's something that hopefully more awareness can bring about. How are you all working on new recruitment strategies?
One of the things that Fulton County is doing in Georgia, which we've had some success, is we've identified some people coming out of prisons for a second chance. It doesn't work for everybody, but we've had some really good people who made some bad decisions when they were 18, 20, 21, 22, but now that they're in their early 30s, they're ready to really provide back to something to the community and really have a life. And so we've had some very good luck with some second chance individuals through our programs.
Should departments change perhaps to be more fitting for these newer generations?
Yeah, so I think we do have to change, because historically city and county governments were, a little bit more bureaucratic in our hiring process. They're put in for good intentions, but private industry is able to be more nimble in hiring. So we've done a lot of things to try to be more nimble ourselves. In the job fairs now, we can make conditional same-day job offers, which in the past we could never do. Yeah, in the past you would get us signed up for an interview. You would interview a month later, get a score a month after that. By then they have a job. And it's been one of the top priorities of Mayor Karen Bass, the new mayor in Los Angeles, for us, is filling positions. So we have support all the way up to the mayor in finding ways to be more nimble with our hiring.
Yeah, it's an excellent point. And then we're also exploring as a PWA, working with different veterans groups. We've reached out in DC and spoken with different agencies, making them aware that Public Works is a great option.
Sounds like there's a lot of work being done just to bring people on board.
Well, it is, and we're at a very unique time. Congress passed a bill, what's called IIJA. It's an infrastructure bill that provides $1.2 trillion in infrastructure funding. So COVID hit, people had a change of lifestyle, new outlook on life, change of careers, and then we also have supply chain shortages and workforce shortages all happening at once, and we have a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity with $1.2 trillion of spending. So, but having said that, we're not about whining about it, woe is me. We just had a meeting here of about 18 public works directors from the largest cities in the United States, Canada, even Helsinki. And we actually spoke about these issues of recruitment, retention, and trying to create a culture, even though you might not be able to pay a lot, but creating that welcoming, inclusive culture so that once you actually have hired somebody, they stay.
Well, thank you so much for
you.
joining us, and exciting things to come then.
Thanks very much.
Thank you.
Yeah, pleasure.